Hello and welcome to my final thoughts video on the Lenovo Legion Y540 17-inch gaming laptop. I've been using it for a little over a week now, and I've got to say I'm really impressed with the system. It's been running all my games on high to ultra high settings, and I even did a couple live streams with OBS running in the background, and it didn't impact things too badly. Now, I did want to start off with covering a couple of the aesthetic things on here. Starting off with the power brick. Now it does look fairly sizey compared to the laptop, but it isn't too thick, so it does fit in a bag fairly well. Now the other thing too is when you open the lid, you get a little light in the Legion logo, which is pretty cool. Same color as the backlighting on the keyboard. Speaking about keyboard, some of you wanted to know how much flex is on this. Now, normal use, there isn't really any flex, but if you do go and start pounding on it and putting a lot of weight onto it, you will see a little bit of flex, like you can see here. Again, I'm putting quite a bit of weight on this to get it to flex like that. It's not really going to be an issue for most of you. Probably not going to be an issue for any of you unless you have like 100-pound hands. Anyway, some of you wanted to see the inside of the laptop. The bottom comes off in two pieces. You can slide off the front piece by taking off these two front screws. That gives you access to the hard drive, the NVE drive, and the RAM. The back portion, you have to take off quite a bit more screws to get into to see the cooling system. So I'm not going to do that in this video. I'm just going to show you the front piece, which is where most of you will go into. Now, when you do slide this off, make sure you slide it towards you and lift up. If you try lifting up, you're going to snap some clips, which means it's not going to slide back on and seal properly when you do that. I learned this the hard way. I snapped a couple of the plastic tabs. I had to super glue them back on, which made it seal properly again. So not all is lost if you make that mistake. Now you have your hard drive, your NVE drive, your battery, and your CPU here. Again, like I said, it's fairly easy to swap the drives and the RAM with this laptop. 2 screws and you're done. You have a Seagate drive here, Intel NVE drive. Now the cooling on this system is pretty good. It can be attributed to how the laptop raises itself. You can see those 2 ledges coming out. Here's a photo kind of showing you the gap. It's about 3 millimeters-ish, but anyway, it runs pretty well temperature-wise. Now, some of you wanted me to undervolt and overclock the GPU just to see how it would score on the benchmarks. I've gone ahead and done this. I would take them with a grain of salt, to be honest. Well, I did run Prime 95 and Furmark to make sure these were stable settings, and you'll see once we get to the Port Royal benchmark, I scored quite a bit higher on it. But when I actually went to play a game after I did this, the system crashed because of vMemory issues, so I had to scale back my undervolting and overclock settings to fix that. Ironically, my friend brought his VR headset over yesterday when we were playing some games. One of them being like a Counter-Strike clone. When we loaded it up, it caused the system to crash again, so I had to underclock the system a bit. Well, not underclock it, but I had to reduce the settings that I had, which were stable on normal gaming. So again, you can get the system to benchmark quite a bit higher with the overclocking and undervolting on the GPU, which you're seeing here. But it's more for bragging rights than anything. Real world, I mean, the laptop runs fine in its stock form, but in real world, you will get some lower temperatures, a little bit better frame rate, but it's not going to make your system run like it's a 2080 RTX all of a sudden. Moving on a little bit, some of you are asking about settings I've been using for the undervolting on the CPU and the GPU. I'll just give you some general numbers because due to silicon lottery, some of you might be able to undervolt further than I have, and some of you might not be able to get to the numbers that I have gotten to just because of the variances in the production process. Now the CPU, you can undervolt around 140 millivolts. It shouldn't be an issue for most systems. GPU, on the other hand, there's a lot of variables going on there. You can do about 120 millivolts. I'd say, for most systems without an issue. You might run into some problems with VR, but other than that, like, you can undervolt it. Now, you can kind of see here with the Port Royal benchmark, I did score into a category higher than I was before. Again, just take it with a grain of salt. Now, some of you wanted to know what the Srgb values were on this laptop. I'm not sure if I've done this right, but I don't have any professional tools, so I've used DisplayCal to show you what is in the profile. Doesn't really mean much to me, but there's the details there. Please comment on it in the comment section below and let us know what you think of that profile, or if I did it wrong and need to redo it. Now, more important for most of us, I think, is the display response time, which is 6.4 milliseconds. Last time I checked, that's a really good number, but I might be out of date. So if it isn't such a great number anymore, please comment down there. The other thing some of you wanted to see was how this ran Adobe Premiere. Unfortunately, I don't have a license for that, but I did go ahead and download DaVinci Resolve 16, which, from what I read, is a fairly resource-heavy program. It ended up compiling this video in about 3 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. Just to recap, because I believe I forgot to mention it before, I've been running at consistent mid to high 70s for CPU temp, with about 60 to 65 degrees for the GPU temps while gaming on ultra to high settings for most games. So it's been running fairly cool for me. Again, this could vary a bit depending on your ambient temperatures. So overall, once you get used to the numpad key layout and everything else on this laptop, I do agree that it is a pretty good value for what you get. Now, I do appreciate your guys' feedback throughout this process. I know I have a lot of room to improve before I turn into a top YouTuber, if that ever does happen. So I do appreciate any feedback you guys leave in the bottom. And any questions you have that I might have forgotten to cover in this video, just let me know and I'll be more than happy to answer it for you. And please hit that subscribe button if you like what I'm doing and would like to be notified of the next video I put up. So until the next unboxing, you guys have a great week and take care.